Now we are in chapter 2.6 and we're going to be problem solving in geometry. Here is our first objective. We're going to solve problems involving the angles of a triangle. So definition, the angles of a triangle. The sum of the measures of three angles of any triangle is 180 degrees. So if you were to add up the three angles in any triangle, it will always equal 180 degrees. So here's the example. It says one angle of a triangle is 3 times another. The measure of the third angle is 10 degrees more than that of the smallest angle. Find the angles. So first thing first, the reference angle will always be x. The reference angle will always be x. The other two angles will be written in terms of x, the reference angle. So if we go back to the first sentence, it says one angle of a triangle is 3 times another. Well, this another is talking about the reference angle. So the another is the reference angle. So then the second angle, it says one angle of a triangle, this will be the second, is 3 times another. Well, that means 3 times the reference angle, which is x. So how do you write 3 times x? You just write 3x. Then it says the measure of the third angle is 10 degrees more than that of the smallest angle. So again, the smallest angle is talking about the reference angle x. So the third angle is 10 degrees more than x. So how do you write that? Well, you write it as 10 plus x. So now you have 3 angles, and what you need to do is find the measure of all of the angles. In order to do that, you need to know what is x. So you're going to take each one of these angles and add them up. So you got x plus 3x plus 10 plus x. And we know if we add the angles up, it should equal 180 degrees. So let's combine our like terms. We have 1x plus 3x plus 1x is 5x plus 10 is 180 degrees. Now we're going to solve for x, so subtract 10 on both sides, and you get 5x is 170. Divide by 5, and you get x to come out to be 34 degrees. So x is 34 degrees, but that's not all they wanted. They wanted all of the angles. So now you're going to go back and plug in 34 for x and solve for each angle. So this one is 34 degrees, and this one is 3 times 34 degrees, which is 102 degrees, and then this one is 10 plus 34 degrees, which is 44 degrees. So your 3 angles are 34, 102, and 44. If you add these up, they should equal 180, which they do. All right, let's move on to a second example. Then it says, in a triangle, the measure of the first angle is 3 times the measure of the second angle. So the measure of the first angle is 3 times the measure of the second angle. The measure of the third angle is 20 degrees less than the second angle. What is the measure of each angle? So notice that they describe the first angle in terms of the second, and they describe the third angle in terms of the second. So each time that they refer to an angle is the second angle. So this time the reference angle, you still write it as x, but he represents the second angle. Whereas on the first example, the reference angle was our first angle. This time it is the second. So it says the measure of the first angle is 3 times the measure of the second angle. Well, again, that means 3 times x, so you're going to write it as 3x. Then it says the measure of the third angle is 20 degrees less than the second angle. Well, the second angle is again x, and we know it's going to be 20 degrees less than. Remember, when we see less than, we have to switch the order. So the second angle comes first, which is x, minus 20. X minus 20. So our 3 angles are x, 3x, and x minus 20. Now we need to solve for x to help us find the other 2 angles. So we're going to add up the angles. So x plus 3x plus x minus 20 equals 180. So then combine your like terms and you have 5x minus 20 equals 180. Add 20 on both sides and you have 5x equals 200. Divide by 5, divide by 5, x equals 40 degrees. So the second angle is 40 degrees. Find the first angle is going to be 3 times 40 degrees, which is 120 degrees. And then for your third angle is going to be 40 minus 20, which is 20 degrees. And again, if you add all 3 angles up, it should equal 180, which it does. So now objective 5, we're going to be solving problems involving angles that are complements and supplements. And it starts off, well, angles that are complements means these angles, if you add them up, their sum will equal 90. And angles that are supplement, well, if you add them up, their sum will equal 180. So complementary is 90 degrees and supplementary is 180 degrees, the sums. Now, how do you write them? Well, first of all, the measure of the angle is still going to be x. So that's still the reference angle. The measure of the angle's complement is now 90 minus x. And the measure of the angle's supplement is 180 minus x. So complement is 90 minus x, and supplement is 180 minus x. And the measure of the angle, well, that's just going to be x. Example, it says find the measure of an angle that is 12 degrees less than its complement. So it says find the measure of an angle. So the measure of an angle is 12 degrees less than its complement. Okay, so let's start by translating this. Well, the measure of an angle, we know that just to be x. So the measure of the angle is x. Then it says is, so that's equals. Then it says 12 degrees less than its complement. Well, we know less than means minus, but we also know we have to switch the order. The complement must come first. Now, how do we write the complement? It is 90 minus x. This piece right here is just the complement. And then we have to subtract 12. So this is the complement. This minus represents the less than. And then we write in the 12. So we have x is equal to 90 minus x minus 12. Combine our like terms and we have x is equal to 78 minus x. Solve for x, so we're going to add x on both sides. And now we have 2x equals 78. Last step is to divide by 2, and we have x being 39 degrees. So it says find the measure of an angle. So the measure of an angle is x, which we found, so it equals 39 degrees. Okay, so this will conclude our video for 2.6. Feel free to email me if you have any questions.